Assalamu alaikum and honors to all the judges. Good morning. My topic today is going to be cultivating a sense of nationalism and affection for our country. Nationalism is identification, a self-appreciating love for one's own nation and support for its interests, especially to the detriment or exclusion of the other nation's favors. Notwithstanding, this isn't an idealist belief to belittle those from the outside or to be frankly unjust and xenophobic. The affection and love that we have for our country is the pillar of nationalism and patriotism within our heart. Acknowledging such and discerning it from mindless prejudice shows true strength and justice in our judgment. Since the last century, we have seen that the spirit of nationalism has been the core part in our country's road to independence and freedom. A strong feeling of nationalism is critical for Malaysia's younger generation's ability to evolve into a more developed nation, to be a safe and peaceful haven. It's quite peculiar to pivot on which is better or worse when we all could stand in the face of our nation or our race and protect what is right. Tolerating the differences between each independent country and not forming baseless arguments shall be the key to understanding the values of nationalism and how it affects one to a wider scale. To be just and prosperous in the face of globalization's mounting challenges to the Malaysian state. In today's era, nationalism and affection for our country has been degrading in the hearts and minds of the younger generation. It's quite arduous to foster such ideals as the young minds are less interested in learning the lifelong history of our country. In fact, they are more interested in the world of social media and the agendas that come along with it. The state of patriotism that is within them is quite saddening. The case in point, the question that I'd like to pose now is how do we exactly cultivate a sense of nationalism and affection for a country? It's easier said than done, really. On one hand, what is the driving force behind such a thing? Perhaps we could argue for it to be a movement, means of freeing the widespread nation from the shackles of imperialism and control, while on the other hand is the love to garner citizenship through unity. The governments play a huge part in all of this, in cultivating all of this, but do the masses really adhere to such? It all began with the citizens trying to vouch for freedom and independence, so it's quite an ironic turn of event for the citizens in this day and age to be particularly nonchalant and indifferent to the idea of nationalism. While the governments play a huge part in all of this, we cannot forget about the educational institutions and the corruption that exists within our proud citizens. Malaysia was once united, waging war to pursue what is right, what is ethical and moralistic, what is just and worth sacrificing. However, these institutions, while still playing a vital part in helping us nurture a sense of love and devotion for our country in today's generation, are still fractionally assisting in such. The younger generations stray further and further away from the truth. They lead a life astray and devoid of reasons and patriotism. Once the seasons change and they grow to be adults, will they really be the ones proud and courageous standing in the face of our nation? Or will they not end up just like what we hope for the future? Largely following that, for all the negatives that I've spouted, although they got a ring of truth in all of them, are not without positives. There's been many movements to combat this in hopes of improving our country, and their resilience and efforts will never be in vain. The cultures, the bonds, and the times that we've cherished will forevermore be a stamp of affection for Malaysia. This is most vigilant when Independence Month arrives. Once every year, we be commemorative in honoring the legacy that is left behind. Nationalism has also been implemented in buildings and architectures. If I may, I'd like to share a certain Japanese phrase which goes, Ichigo Ichie. It became a staple in its culture. This short but meaningful phrase translates into this moment exists only now and wouldn't come ever again. In Japanese architecture, this phrase was put into play with how houses, interiors, and other things were being made with wooden material. This intentional design structure of how things will rot in the passing years only to be fixed by the next generations and onward as the cycle repeats again shows that humanity will forever try their hardest to keep the past remembered for as long as they can. This is paired with nationalism. Not only in Japan, gallery walk and theater play in Malaysia also act on this. It can be used as catalyst for implementing the rich cultural history in the minds of the Malay youths. After all, understanding our country's history and cherishing sacrifices that were made are one of the only ways, or some of the ways to actually show that we love our country. To quote Tunku Abdul Putra Al-Hajj, we must each think first of Malaysia, of the national need, and least of ourselves. Everyone must try to help and see that the people are one-minded, with loyalty and one aim, to make Malaysia, the land that we love, a happy abode for us all. If we do this, then we can guarantee liberty, security, prosperity, and happiness for the future. In conclusion, I hope that this speech will be imperative for us to forsake corruption and move forward. This shall be taken as an initiative to make us united as a country. We, the proud people of Malaysia, let's be proud of it, my brothers and sisters. Let us cultivate a sense of nationalism and affection for our country. Move together, united as one, and forevermore as Malaysia. Thank you.